right, welcome back, family. Welcome back once again. We got a good one. I'm calling it. We got a good one. All right. Today, we gonna get into what a man's role is. We're gonna talk about why is it, or not why is it, but why a woman should let her man go to work, stop hassling him about time, and we're going to talk about a few other things. So let's get into it. So to start it off, now in my humble opinion, I believe a man's purpose is to provide and protect. Now, what does that mean? That means as a man, we're built a certain way, right? As a man, we got all this firmness, all this extra other barbaric stuff that we got physically. So that's to protect. Right? A man is supposed to be able to lay his life down on the line if the situation calls for it. So, let's say, for example, right? You got cops killing us now, right? Well, not now, but you know what I mean. So you got cops killing us, and I'm seeing, of course, a lot of brothers getting shot. I'm seeing women afraid, women that have kids in the car with them afraid, in general, afraid. As a man, I am supposed to and obligated to lay my life down if that means my family gets a chance to escape or get to safety. Now, in your mind, you might be thinking, well, yeah, but all men do that. All men are supposed to do that. Yeah, of course. But here's the thing. In this day and age where we have the emasculation, we have the domestication of men, all men do not think that way. As a matter of fact, I'll even go as far to say that very few men do. Now, those of you that watch my videos, those of you that follow my page and subscribe to the things that I say, then you might think, oh, well, I do. Salute to you if you do. If you have a family and you would lay your life down, I salute you. But let's not disregard the times that we're in. Let's not disregard the fact that we are in a time where boys would rather shoot than fight. Now, when I was younger, let me not try not to sound like an old person, because I'm not old. When I was younger, right? When you had a problem with somebody, don't get me wrong, there was shootouts and drive-bys and all that type of stuff. When I was younger, it was people getting shot all over the place. But if it was just a argument or a discrepancy like that, most of the time it was a one-on-one fade, through the hands, got it over with. Done. Just like that. Most of the time also, when you handle things with the hands, most of the time you realize what y'all was fighting over was really nothing, and it was dumb in the first place. So you end up becoming friends with your enemy, which is what's supposed to happen. But in this day and age, again, you have men that act like females, and you have females that act like the men. The roles have switched, people. The roles have switched. What is the end result to this way of living now? Because I came on Instagram and social media and said men are supposed to be the providers. Women shouldn't have to work. And women went crazy. Outrage. Outrage. But they forgot that I said women should not have to. Not women can't. Not women are incapable. And not women are less than. It's actually the opposite in my view. Women are the highest beings in this universe. So as the highest being in this universe, why are you subjecting yourself to such lowly work? Why are you subjecting yourself to trying to obtain equal as what men have when you go down that path of trying to achieve equal as what men have? Guess what happens next? You lose sense of what you have and who you are. As a woman, you are the greatest thing since anything. And you have lost that. Now, men, how this all ties into our purpose is, like I said, a man's purpose is to provide and protect. If you will not allow him to provide for you, because now we in this day and age where I could do bad all by myself. I don't need no man, this, that, and the third. Let's get something clear right now. If we didn't need each other, one of us wouldn't be here. Do I really need to say it again? If we didn't need each other, one of us would not be here. So what is all the hoopla about? Yes, I did say hoopla. What is it all about? See, ladies, what you're not realizing is you're playing right into the game of your natural enemy. Whether that be government, white people, whatever you want to call it, the opposition. You're playing right into the agenda. See, they know your strength. They know. They know that if they can turn you on your own shield, by shield I mean black man. If they can remove the shield from the equation, guess what that leaves you? Guess what it leaves you? It leaves you vulnerable. It leaves you without your natural built-in shield, your force field, your protection. And you might be asking, well, how does that happen? How did they just remove that from the situation? Do you really have to ask? Let's go back. Let's go back to slavery. Let's go back. When they separated the men and women. When they put all the male Negroes in the field and they took their wives from them, took them in the house, raped them, got them pregnant, had interracial babies, and then raised those babies in the house. So you know what that does? Do you know what that does when you have now a black and white baby that is spawned from rape? One, the woman that has been raped now resents the man that let that happen to her, the field Negro. And two, that baby that is now growing up will be shown privilege, which will then create a whole different type of mentality, because that baby ain't gonna know, oh, I come from the field for real. That baby ain't gonna know that the only reason that baby was born is from an agenda to divide us. So again, your shield has been removed from you. The black man has been removed from you. So once you remove the shield from the household, you have a vulnerable situation now. And once you got that vulnerable situation, you know what you do? You make it hard for her, right? Right? She already knows she's a woman, so she can't make as much as a man. So now she's struggling for real, because now she resents. Now she's resenting the man because maybe, let's say maybe he couldn't get no opportunity because he was black, so he couldn't get a good job. or whatever other reason you can come up with, because you know there's a multitude of reasons they like to deny black men jobs. So let's say now she has to pick up the slack and work, right? She got kids, y'all got kids together. She got to pick up the slack and work. Now all she knows 10, 20, 30, 40 years is work just to get the bills paid. You know what happens after that? She breeds kids that only know work. And even bigger than that, she breeds daughters that only know work. So what that does is the messaging that she's going to pass down in her mind to her kids from internally to externally is going to be trust no man, do for yourself. Do you know what that does to a little girl? Now you have ingrained in her, do not trust any man, do for yourself. All because the root of the emasculation and the agenda to remove the shield, the man from the household, whether that be him getting locked up, whether that be, because let's face it, this goes back before niggas was just making dumb mistakes. It's before that. It's before niggas was making dumb mistakes and just getting locked up for dumb decisions. We can't just blame it on that. This goes back to a real agenda that is still alive today. 500 years of an agenda. Just think about it. So ladies, while you sitting up there saying you don't need no man, you want everything to be 50-50 and this, that, and the third, I want you to ask yourself a couple questions. When you was growing up, what were you taught? Were you taught to not trust a man and do for yourself? Secondly, were you hurt by a man, and then from that pain you went on to just do for yourself? The reason why I want you to ask these questions is because if the answer to those is yes, then you're not being independent for the sake of just being independent. You're not being independent just because that's in your path to do. You're being independent because you have a pain and a trauma and an anger towards men, and you don't want to go through it again. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call it what it is. I done made a hole. You can't say I have a problem towards women because I done made a shit ton of videos bringing up and encouraging women and shunning the men. So now I am making one for the fellas. I'm the same man that said, if you are a man that's cheating on your woman, you don't deserve a woman, you don't deserve anything but a fucking prison cell. I'm the same man that said, if you are spending more time with your homeboys and you're spending with your family, spending with your kids, spending with your woman, spending with your mama, spending with your brother, whatever, you ain't shit. So don't come at me with that extra. Because the truth of the matter is that every one of us is scared of the trauma that we have been through, and we will do anything to stay away from it. And that includes the women that are trying to sit up here and say they're independent when you're only using that as a vehicle to stay away from your trauma. I only want you to think about it. We have to move past the things that we harbor. Because for you ladies, there is a man out there that is willing to bust his natural black ass to make sure you live a worryless, stressless life filled with nothing but love and the world on a golden platter. And the question I want you to ask is, yes, as a woman, you can do anything in the universe. You are the most powerful being in the universe. The most powerful. But the question is, should you have to work? Because let's acknowledge that at one point in time, women stayed home, men went to work. Oh, and I know men messed it up. We've already acknowledged that 50 times over on my page, in my videos. We've already acknowledged it. But the thing is, let's ask this. If men would have never messed that up, would we be where we are today? Don't worry, I'll wait. No. The answer is no. We would not be. If men, the bad men in that moment, whoever they may be, if they would have never abused the power, whether if it was verbal abuse, domestic or physical abuse, whether if it was cheating, whether if it was whatever it was that caused the revolt and the emancipation of black women from black men, we wouldn't be here today. And see, for you ignorant ones, you gonna say, oh, well, the times are different. Let me enlighten you, love. Yeah, they're different. They're worse than they were before. Do you need examples? Let me give you some. Because we was getting killed by police then, but at least then we weren't able to view it on YouTube. Now we're getting killed on camera, on video, in pictures, and they're telling you in the courts to go fuck yourself. Innocent for the cop. There's one. Here's two. Man, look. It's funny to me because I know where it stems from. I know you're angry. You're really angry. But if you looked in the mirror and dealt with that anger, would any of this really matter? Because at the end of the day, all this is therapy. This is me and my, how do you say, my way, I guess, of trying to heal my people by putting the mirror in front of your face. You got to look at it, love. You got to look at it. Yeah, he hurt you. He hurt you. That does not give you the right to run around hurting everybody else. You walk around here with a rude, bad attitude. You walk around here scared, don't want to take no chances. You walk around here living in a box, and you forgot life is a gamble. So while you complaining about what you don't have, while you complaining about your life and you being single and not having a man, and you learn to be comfortable outside your comfort zone. Learn to read the lessons in your losses. Because what you're missing is clarity. And there's a guy out there right now. He's being molded by the universe just for you. But guess what? You'll never be able to see him. You know why? because you are your own worst enemy and you won't get out your own way. So he can come at you with all the, oh, baby, you so beautiful. I just want to give you the world. This, that, and the third. Boom, boom, boom. Da, 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 da. He can come with all that. Guess what? It ain't going to matter at the end of the day. You know why? Because at the end of the day, your fear is going to consume you because you have not yet looked in that mirror. Ooh, wee. Come on now. Talk to me. Somebody gonna have to. I told y'all before, man. I am the table, aka I am the jacket. Look, it's simple. It's simple. You want love? You want love. You want it in its purest form? If you are a woman that has a man, let him hustle. Let him go work. Do not be in his ear trying to domesticate him into what you want him to be. Because he was like that when you met him. Oh, pause. Because if it was a situation where the guy pretended to be something and now he isn't that and you're still with him, that sounds like it's more your fault than his. Because you've noticed he's not that, so why are you still with him? I made a post recently. You cannot get comfortable in a relationship. You can't get comfortable in a relationship. The moment you get comfortable is the moment another outside influence, whether that be male or female, will come take your spouse. Because that person will be doing everything and anything to make your spouse happy. And they're not necessarily wrong for that. Because if you slacking on your job, whether you be male or female, do you really deserve that person? Now, on the flip side of that, I do also believe that before you drop somebody and go run to the next person, you should be having a conversation about what's going wrong in your own relationship. But let's get back to a man's purpose. Now, if we just dial back from the trauma of it all, it's real simple. Men are on this earth as servants of a family. A man's life does not have purpose until he has a family. It's different for a woman. As the highest being on this planet, in this universe, a woman has all the purpose. You are Mother Nature. But at the same token, you poison yourself as a woman when you take on this persona of a person that does not need a man, does not want a man. You know, the bitter types. We just gonna call a spade, the bitter types. It's not bitter if you're a woman that has... Let's get one thing out the way. Okay, because I can already feel people saying stuff that doesn't have anything to do with this video. So, a woman that goes through an abusive relationship or gets cheated on, and she then leaves that relationship but has pain from it, it depends from that point where she goes with it. If she goes to a life of, oh, men ain't shit, this, that, and the third, that's bitterness. And also generalizing men, which now subjects and condemns her to a life of meeting bullshit men until she can deal with that pain and look in the mirror. But if she takes that pain and in return takes a second, takes a month, a year, whatever, however long it takes you to deal with your pain, and learns a lesson, learns what she can do better, and keeps moving forward, that's progression. That's beautiful. That's great. But how many actually do that? I'm not saying for you few that are going to comment and say, oh, well, I do it. Good, great. But you're part of a minority as opposed to the majority that'll sit up there and say men ain't shit, while saying they're pro-black, while saying they only date black men, will also say black men ain't shit. What kind of backward self-hatred shit is that? So let's acknowledge the fact that men have a purpose and women have a purpose. Trying to disregard that purpose makes no sense for the simple fact that there are universal moral and principle laws in life. You know, when you walk down the street or you drive down the street, whatever, if you kill your next door neighbor, that's wrong, right? That's a universal law. You know that's wrong. Of course, there are people in this world that are crazy, like mass murderers that have a chemical imbalance and don't know that's wrong, but we know them to be psychos. Are you a psycho? So why go against the universal law? I don't understand why a woman will say, oh, well, times are different. Women can do this, that, and the third. Yes, but should you have to is the question. Because like I said earlier, the times are different, but they're worse. Intimately, romantically, for black men and black women, they're worse than they were before. At least back then, there was structure, a foundation. Everybody had a role, and it was working up until the point when men messed up. But see, what we didn't do was give room to breathe, learn, and recover. We didn't do that. We went straight from men messing up to women hating men. And again, for a woman that is a feminist and you believe, you know, women deserve equal rights, you are correct and accurate in every single way. But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the women that use that as a vehicle to disregard their trauma, to sit up here and hate on men, black men in particular, to sit up here and generalize men, all because somebody broke your heart 10 years ago. You know what time it is. We're going to take a break real quick. I'll come back. I need to drink some water. I need to use the bathroom. Give me a second. We'll be right back.
I feel the wind on my face, feel the sun on my eyes. Makes me squint for a second as if I'm mad I'm alive. Yeah, I was.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for hanging with me through that little brief intermission. I had to get myself right. All right, so let's carry this thing on into soulmates and finding one. All right, so again, people, disclaimer, this is all a matter of opinion, okay? Don't get your panties in a bunch, whether if you're male or female, because you know males can get their panties in a bunch too. Don't get your panties in a bunch. It's in the intro of the video. Keep your emotions at the door, okay? This ain't the place for you if you're here to just be sensitive. I'm telling you, you're gonna get your feelings hurt coming at me crazy. Okay, so let's get into it. So the question I want to ask you guys is the box that you're in, because everybody wants to find a soulmate. Everybody wants to find somebody that is specifically for them, a good person overall, right? So a good person overall. So the question is, what are you really doing to find that person? Now, if your everyday life is go to work, come home, go to work, come home, sometimes go to the grocery store, sometimes take your kids X, Y, and B place or whatever, you have to understand that you're limiting your opportunities. Now, I understand that you're tired. There's only so much energy you got in a day, right? For single mothers, it's kind of tough. But if you're a person that's looking for a soulmate, you're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone. Even me, right? I have a lot better interactions with women now because I take more chances outside of my comfort zone, right? So whether, like, for example, I said in other videos, I'm not really too comfortable with approaching women, but through my own ways of therapy, I've gotten comfortable with it, or I've gotten more comfortable with it, and I've worked towards that. So, and you have to do the same. So if that means once a month going somewhere for yourself, maybe you go to a club or a bar or a massage therapy place, or take yourself out to dinner, there's really no limit as to where you can find somebody that's for you. It's just about getting out there. But you got to understand, if you're relying on superficial things like social media or dating apps, not to say that you can't meet a soulmate off there, but we have to acknowledge the fact that 99.9% of the people that are on these apps are garbage. And not because they want to be, maybe some of them, but for the most part, all the lost people that are just looking for attention at that direct moment congregate on these apps where you can get it at any given specific time. So you have to understand what you're subjecting yourself to. And it's not much different from real life, right? I'm sure many of women will attest to the fact that, I mean, whether you're on a dating app, social media, or out at the grocery store, you're gonna get approached. But I think the question is the quality of men that are approaching you, right? Because on dating apps, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a guy that's trying to fuck. Same thing kind of for social media. Now, in person, you do have some sort of, what the fuck just happened? Oh, sorry about that. You do have some sort of control over your environment, because you can decide where you go and who you're around. I mean, yeah, of course there's going to be strangers that try to talk to you, but the thing is, depending on where you are, kind of dictates the level of people, right? So although I'm not saying church is a great place to go, because a lot of people know I'm not really a big fan of churches, but church, I'm pretty sure there's some good brothers in there, and I'm pretty sure there's more good than bad. And then on another place, the whole point here, people, is just get out of your comfort zone if you want to meet somebody, because going through the same motions every day, work home, and then getting on social media and complaining about being lonely, it's not going to solve the problem. You're just harboring it, and you're just going to keep complaining about it. So get out of your comfort zone. Go try something new. I know you're looking at me like, man, I'm not finna get out here and do nothing. Well, then that's up to you, baby. That's entirely up to you. But what I'm saying is, you control your own narrative. You control your own life. So the results that you get from it, you can't be mad at, because it's a direct derivative of what you've put into it. You feel what I'm saying? So, off that. So, back to a man's purpose. And the only reason why I keep getting into this is because I don't think it's said enough. I don't think women understand. I don't think you women understand how easy your life should be for you, but you've gotten so comfortable and content with the fact of what you've had to do for your entire life, now you justify what you have to do. If men would have never fucked up, if men would all rise to the occasion, you wouldn't have to do the things you do now. Because that's what we're specifically here for. Now, all this stuff about, oh, well, I don't want to have no gender roles. Well, then kill yourself. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Sorry. I don't know what you want me to do, man. The gender roles, there's men and females on this earth. If there were no roles, why would there be two different sexes? That don't make no sense. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. There's two different sexes. If there were no roles, if there were not supposed to be any roles, don't you think that we would be the same sex then? If men didn't have a job and women have a job, that means I would be able to pump out a baby and you would be able to shoot out sperm. Well, you can, but you get what I'm saying. So I don't understand, like, and then that whole argument is faulty because it's like, again, I'm gonna keep saying it. If your whole argument is based upon, oh, the times are different, yeah, they're worse. A black man cannot even approach a black woman anymore. Do you understand that? And the ones you are getting approached by are what? Trash. There is a reason for that. Because all the good men are getting laughed out the building by girls that are just on their girls' night out. But guess what? That ties into what I just said a minute ago about being out of your comfort zone and not shooting down all men that come towards you. That one man that you just shot down might have been the guy for you. But you was out with your girls feeling yourself and you turned him down just because you got nervous or you was scared or you ain't want to talk to no dudes in front of your girls or whatever. I don't know what it is, but y'all need to stop. It's stupid. It's stupid how a woman will get on social media and she will complain about being single, about not finding a good man, but you turn down every man that walked towards you. You scare away every man that you have conversations with. That don't make no damn sense. That don't mean you ain't ran into no good men. That means you trash. Ooh-wee, this gonna hurt a lot of feelings. It's really not my problem. I'm here to endorse and support and encourage the queens, which queens are a certain type of women. And I'm here to endorse and support and encourage the kings. All you motherfuckers that got something to say about the shit I be saying, I don't care. Don't care. You know why I don't care? Because you're right here. If you was in front of me, you wouldn't be saying that. And you really don't have an argument. All of this stuff that we talked about today is based, all the stuff that people would have an argument with me is based upon anger, trauma, pain, and fear. If you don't have any of those, you wouldn't feel how you feel. And for the women that have been taught to not depend on a man since you was damn near born, just because you was taught something does not make it accurate. You need to investigate what made your mother or whoever teach you that. Was your daddy a dog back in the day? Was your mama back in the day? If it stems from pain, it's wrong. You shouldn't be learning from nobody that's giving advice based on their pain, because their shoes are not your shoes. Let's get that clear. Their shoes are not your shoes. Their path is not your path. And although advice is great, you have to question where it's coming from mentally and emotionally. If the advice you're getting is stemming from one and another individual that's also stemming from a place of pain, anger, trauma, or whatever, you need to really reconsider taking that advice. Because the stuff that they're trying to keep you away from, that they went through and didn't work out for them, could be the thing that works out for you. But you gonna say what? Oh, but yeah, it could be the opposite too. Are we really going back to the gambling thing? Because we already said life's a gamble. We know that. So if you're not going to gamble and you're going to stay in a box, don't be mad at the results that you get. Keep living that content life. Keep working that same regular 9 to 5 that you're working that you're unhappy with. Just don't comment when people like me say stuff that I be saying, because we in 2 different life brackets. And I know all my fellas, I know y'all want to hear me talk about the insecurities in these women. And ladies, if you're watching this and you somehow believe that I have something negative towards women, go watch my other videos. Get some context, and you will understand and change your opinion. Because for the last 40 videos, I've been dogging men, telling them how bad they've been and stuff like that. Can't just keep dogging my brothers, man. Gotta encourage them too. I gotta be on their side too. It's called being unbiased. Because men ain't just the problem. There is no one gender that is the problem. We are both the problem. Hoes are the problem. Cheating, abusive ass men is the problem. And cheating women is the problem too. There is no one problem. All the bitter women will sit up here and convince you that all the dog ass men is a problem. All the dog ass men is gonna say all these hoes is the problem. But it is up to the enlightened ones, the ones that see both sides of the spectrum, to tell both of them, shut the fuck up. Look in the mirror and deal with your shit. See, if we're not gonna do that, we are just as bad as both of them. Because the same thing we tell white folks, right? The ones that don't stand up against the racism, they're just as bad as the racist ones, right? So how are we any different for the ones of us that don't stand up against the ones that are harming our community? It's the same goddamn thing. Black on black issues is just as relevant and just as prevalent as the white on black issue. And the black on black one is way more important, because once we solve the internal problem, once we solve our internal strength, once we understand our internal value, all this shit that's going on between white and black people, trust me, we're gonna have a billion motherfuckers knocking on the doors of every cop that ever killed somebody. And that's what we should do. Because guess what? Let a cop kill a gay person. That entire goddamn LGBTQ plus whatever the hell they damn acronym is gonna be knocking at their door. Let a cop kill a white person. That cop gonna see so much jail time. But we the only ones let it skate by because we scared. I ain't gonna get too far into that though. We ain't gonna get too far into that today. But let's not ignore our own bullshit before we go sniffing out other shit. Feel me? So, as a recap, ladies, Stop with this bitter hatred bullshit, okay? Understand that you are the queen of the universe. You are everything. You are Mother Nature. You are beauty itself. You are everything, anything nice that I could possibly say, you are it. Okay? So understanding that, also understand that a man has a job to do. Not allowing that man to do his job is taking the manhood from him. Not allowing a man to have a purpose takes his soul from him. Because a man without a task is just a child. And you don't want no child, do you? Not to date one, I mean. Okay? So remember that you are above all of this shit that you sit up here and you justify. You trying to be equal to men when you've always been above us. You've always been above us. But that's the trick, ain't it? America led you to believe that you had to be equal to us. You know how they did that? Because to be equal to us, you had to make money, right? Or excuse me, you had to make money in order to be equal to us. And why did you need to make that money, ladies? Because the shield was removed from your household, and I'm only talking to the black women. The shield was removed from your household, your shield being the black man. Whether he was incarcerated, murdered, or whatever, he was removed from your household purposely. So by removing that shield from your household, you take income, you take security, you take stability, you take the very structure of the household. Now you leave a home without security. So now that woman has to compensate. Now she has to fight for her rights when before she didn't have to because she had that shield. So now this woman is subjected to a life of brutal labor, work, and the pursuit of everything she is owed. And all it took was for the government to make an agenda to take your man from you. Then they gave you welfare, they gave you food stamps, they gave you this, that, and the third. Stop being tricked. Stop hating on men. Just because you can't find a good man don't mean ain't no good ones out there. Keep the faith, stay strong. I'm gone.
All my life I've barely spoken. Your words have been so broken. I've been under your hypnosis. Why did I sip that potion? I'm so done with holy ghosting. My birth, it is an omen. Lay me down up in the ocean until you see no motion. Right now I can barely focus. I'm showing no emotion.